A lot has changed since we have last done this series. We've expanded our main showroom here in Scottsdale. We've added a lot more people on our team, and we've been working hard behind the scenes on our big surprise, an expansion in Scottsdale with 2 new stores in Fashion Square Mall. These 2 new stores in the Fashion Square Mall has really been a labor of love. A labor of love with a child who does not want to show up on time and is not following your direction. We had hoped to be open months ago. If anyone's doing construction right now or in the last year or 2, you know how it goes. There's been quite a few setbacks, but we are finally here, finally to this moment, and we couldn't be more excited.
For over 40 years, I have been in this business. The trust my clients have placed in me is so important. This is about continuing the growth of this business on that trust and the standard we have set. This is about what it takes to stay on top.
So we are headed to Scottsdale Fashion Square to meet with Oliver, to meet with Andy from our construction company, and Eddie, who's our architect, to take a look at and discuss the demo, the possible time frame to get this all started, and hopefully come up with a calendar.
This is kind of the new, like another concept of a frontage. I guess this is the Florence boutique. They fixed it up. That's what they're showing me there. And then here's some other interiors, desks, 2 desks and stuff. It's kind of a watch bar setup. Kelton, Oliver, nice to see you. Yeah.
Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones, nice to meet you.
15 feet and we need 600 square feet, so that's what that is.
Is that sort of the Panerai plug-in?
That's sort of the Panerai plug-in.
But there are consequences. This piece back here isn't all that usable. And the other thing is, I need Oliver to understand, is anybody hell-bent on an asymmetrical facade? Like, Panerai has to have a bigger presence than Oliver Smith, or Oliver Smith has to have a bigger presence than Panerai, or are we equal?
Kind of top down with this last week because I knew that the decision maker on this process would be Ben in Geneva, who's really the top dog when it comes to the boutiques.
Sure.
And trying to enlist his help with it. He came through town about 2 weeks ago.
This is the Panerai designer?
This is the Panerai executive. So he's in the C-suite over there. He's the one who makes the decisions on all the boutiques and all the designs and stuff. So he's second in command. And so he was in here looking at it, loved the location. Their parent company also owns Cartier. So they love being next to Cartier. They love the location from that standpoint. So we sort of hit them up with this pass-through, which is evident down at IWC, Hublot, and those are 3 different brands owned by 3 different companies that had to collaborate to get that all together. And Bill ran Hyde Park when they built those stores. So we're lucky to have him here because he knows how to coordinate with the shopping center. He's working with us now. See these pictures? These are the pictures of the new Geneva boutique on my laptop, unfortunately.
That's
but
beautiful.
This is when we were chatting about it. This is the luminous clock.
Gorgeous.
So this concept they want to do here, and then this is the bar upstairs in Geneva.
Love that. Yeah, it's really cool.
Let me run this idea past you. There's going to be something demising, separating these 2 boutiques, right?
Here and look at it, and proud to refer it, and proud to bring their friends in, and it's got to look impressive in that sense. So a little recap on what we just went through on this space. We were working on the delineation of who's going to be where. Where's Panerai going to be? Where's Oliver Smith going to be? How the storefronts are going to interact and things like that. So we're trying to get a demo team in here. We've had a really hard time because of COVID and all the work that these guys have, that we haven't been able to get somebody in here to do the demo. So now I've left it in the hands of the construction zone, who we hired to do the contracting, and he's going to bring in a demo and get this all taken care of. At that point, we can get a lot more questions answered. But what we really discovered today is kind of the scope of the job and how it's going to go working with the shopping center. So it was really good to have Karen here really help us out with that, because she's really enthusiastic about the project and helping us be a success with our design. So I really appreciate that from her.
So our concept is the same concept that we have in Aspen. We are going to have a Panerai watch boutique and then our own Oliver Smith jeweler boutique, and they're going to have a pass-through in the middle, so sort of connected. We have been working with Panerai for over 20 years. My dad, Oliver, first saw the brand in 1999, 2000, and really fell in love with the simplicity of design. And he spotted it early. He was like, oh, this is gonna be a hit. I want on this team. And we've worked with them for 20 years. So really exciting to see the brand grow. It's funny, we were actually just talking in a team meeting yesterday, way back in the early 2000s when Panerai was just taking off, but there wasn't a lot of distribution and they weren't making a lot of watches. We would have 5 watches in the store, 5, and they would all sell and flip and flip. It was amazing. So it's amazing to see this brand now. They can have their full own boutique with 4 different, product lines and lots of different options for men and women. So that's exciting. The next store will have the Oliver Smith Jeweler Boutique. This boutique is only about a 10-12 minute drive away from our current showroom, but we think is a whole new client. And this is gonna give this location a taste of Oliver Smith Jeweler and what we do here at our flagship store. The design is gorgeous. We partnered with a local architect, Eddie Jones. He's really known for commercial spaces, creative commercial spaces, also has done some government projects and private homes. And he really wanted to create a space that whispered luxury.
We're gonna go in and see Eddie Jones. We have an appointment today to almost finalize the design for the new space in Fashion Square. Eddie's got a really great looking building over here in Tempe, and he's been a family friend for a long time, so I'm looking forward to continuing to work with him.
It's tough to just sit here and force ourselves to make a decision. We need, I personally, I would just want real samples, real mock-ups, just to make informed decisions as opposed to intuitive decisions.
And that's a normal process, and that's kind of what we're looking at here for what they expect us to want. With Kelton and his team, I haven't talked to you about this, but I did speak to him earlier today about kind of going through the quote with me and like how he comes up with this stuff. Is that something that you're involved with normally at that point?
I'll be happy to sit in on it, but okay. I don't come up with the costs.
No, not from that sense, but just from the sense of like how we can manage our expectations with these costs, because we kind of don't know what's inside of these numbers. And if we say something like this, like we want to do removable panels inside of the showcases. Oh, well, we didn't have that, and that's gonna, I just want to know kind of what I'm up against there.
I went to Eddie after going through a couple architects for this job and really wasn't sure that he would want to do it because he has never done a jewelry store before. But he's certainly talented enough to be able to do it, and he jumped on it.
So you see how there's 2 kinds of lighting, your general lighting and then your accent light.
The lighting is really the hard part. I mean, the design and such came out great. We have to make a few modifications with some of our displays, but we just discovered that we have to add light. So we're going to get on that. We're going to get that done in the next couple of weeks. But Eddie was a pleasure to work with. Thrilled with what he's put together for us. It's the first time I've ever done a boutique and put kind of our signature on it. So that's a little a difficult task, because not only do you have visual displays, you have a whole image that you're trying to create, you're trying to project a certain quality and craftsmanship too in the image that you want to put forth.
And then this is wood?
Yes, that's that tall storage closet.
Can we put a mirror on that, or would that be stupid?
No.
Is it going to fight with the mirror on the other side? No, right here. I'd like to have a little bit more mirror if we can find a spot for it.
Because these guys like to look at themselves trying on the watch and see how it looks on their wrist. And if we have to move, so in the front of the store, so this mirror's in the back. We have no mirror in the front, right?
Right.
And we have no mirror in the front here.
Right. Well, remember this is a mirror, so that's kind of like halfway.
Okay, that's good. That'll work. Okay, so mirror here, mirror there. Good. I like that. Okay.
Your desk, have you ever seen cable light? It's called cable light. It's thin like aircraft cable, and there's hundreds of kinds of fixtures you can buy, but I just like to use the lamps, suspended between the two cables. Usually they're horizontal. Google cable light. What I want to do is run those vertically, and I'm going to have two.
Oh, that's cool.
There's just going to be two, that you can adjust to light the desk surface. And then above it, there's going to be another couple of fixtures to light this back wall.
Real big shout out to Eddie for all of his help and all of his support, and being the voice of reason, because sometimes I wanted to throw an M80 right in the middle of this whole project, and he was like, Oliver, I know that this has been tough, but it's going to be really great when you get it done.
We're kind of tucked in this little corner of the mall, and we don't want to scream at you with bright lights and flashing things, but we want to have a little whisper that draws you in, and you're curious about what that could be. So really natural woods used without the space. We've got this gorgeous tiles on the ceiling that are kind of sparkle and reflect, put our images throughout. We're gonna offer our Oliver Smith jewelry collection, and then also pre-owned watches, and possibly a couple watch brands as well that aren't yet represented in the space.
George. Oh, I know, right? 15305, 39 millimeter open work.
So this is the single?
Yes,
not the
that's
double?
the single. On the bracelet though, has the complete kit.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thanks, Cliffy. That is absolutely gorgeous. How's it running?
Needs a little work.
Okay.
A little slow.
It looks a little slow.
But look at that dial.
Yeah, condition's just incredible.
Feel how crisp that bracelet, how sharp the edges are.
It's like still originally stickered. What year is this?
2015.
2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Yo, that's awesome, man. All right, what else?
Not as cool as 15305, but we've got a 42 offshore Safari.
Yeah. So this was the first offshore I really fell in love with back in the day. It's supposed to be on a lighter kind of a hornback. Let's see about getting an original strap for it. I think that'd be super cool.
Our team is buying and selling watches every single day, and it takes a lot of work to be purchasing watches. You really have to know what you're looking for. There's a lot of good fakes out there, and you've got to be very knowledgeable of what's currently going on in the market.
Interesting though, watch doesn't have any lume.
Really?
It's weird. I was in love with this and that. Remember that early Montauk Highway with that blue pop? Yeah. So I've always had a soft spot for this watch. That was early. Little bit of a blemish on the bezel there, but I don't mind it. It's just an honest patina of use. Box papers?
Yep.
Okay, we're complete on this one. What's the year?
I just gotta look at the year on that one.
What is it?
Is it a G series?
H series.
H series.
Okay.
This one.
And then Diver?
Diver 42. The classic steel and black, closed case back. He's naked. No box, no papers.
No box,
on
no
him.
papers. Okay.
But I've always really liked the Diver 42 series with the internal bezel and the mega tapisserie dial. I really like it.
It's a really legible watch too, with all that lume on the hour hand. It's really interesting. I always liked it was a little bit thinner as well.
I love that bezel.
Yeah,
so
bezel's
satisfying.
great. Yeah. Kind of a ratchetism. Cool. Very good.
You know I like my APs.
I like all three. Yeah. What are we going to ask for this one?
Probably about $22,000 on that guy.
What's wrong with this watch?
Besides the scratch in it,
Look at the bezel.
is it polished? Oh, are you kidding me?
One of the screws has been put in. So somebody else has been in that watch. So let's be real careful with that. Show it to Ben.
And you know what? I want some money back, or I want to send it back.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is part of the job that's not always the most tasteful. Let's bring this to Ben. How's this one running? Have we rate tested it?
This one I'm not worried about. We already own this. We've had this in the system. Let me go play with this.
Yeah. Rate test it. Show it to Ben. He's right. That is an easy adjustment. But what that to me means is that somebody was in that watch who didn't know what they were doing or didn't care about what they were doing, and I don't like that. So let's fine tooth comb that one. Make sure we feel comfortable with it. As long as we're comfortable, I'll be okay with it. But now we need to really do our due diligence on that one. Okay.
Yeah. Let me go play with it.
All
I got my homework.
Very good.
Well, as you just saw, George pointed out that on the bezel, one of the screws is not aligned. And it does tell us that someone has been in the watch other than Audemars Piguet. So I'm going to come and check, see how he's running, see if anything else has been messed with. I messaged the seller right away when I noticed this screw off, and he said just to adjust it. But let's take a look and see how she's running. Well, not great, to be frank with you. Yeah, 226. Not thrilled with that at all. But let's give it a demag. You know, maybe it got magnetized in shipping. You never know. They send them through lots of X-rays and planes and things like that. Always give them the benefit of the doubt. All right, I'll give it a few more winds here. I think we're going to be good though. It is a handsome watch. Alrighty, let's give this one more try here and see what's going on. Here we go. Yeah, not great. So it's definitely not just magnetized. It's not running well at all. So this is going to be an issue. It's going to need a service, or we have to work it out with the seller. Stay tuned. We will figure it out from here.
George is our director of fine timepieces, and he really has such a vast array of knowledge. He is indispensable to our business. And to watch Will kind of shadow and work with him is really exciting. So for our watch buyers, they're always running deals by each other. So they're never working solo. You always want to run by what price you're buying it for, maybe the product, taking a look. Also for selling too, we're talking about what we're marking retails for, etc. So it really is a team effort that's really important to the success of our business.